Chapter 7, Lesson 3, page 242 in your books. How does weathered material move? Many forces move weathered rock and deposit in new places. The deposits slowly reshape Earth's surface. Erosion. You have read that plants, ice, and water can break down rock, but what happens to the small pieces of rock? Sometimes the rock stays where it is. Sometimes it is picked up and carried to other places. Erosion is the movement of weathered materials. Wind, water, glaciers, living things, and gravity cause erosion. Transport. Water often carries, or transports, weathered materials from one place to another. Rain picks up loose material from rocks. The runoff from the rain flows into streams and rivers. The rivers carry rock from place to place. If the water slows down, some of the rock may settle. Rivers can make new landforms by carrying bits of rock and soil into the ocean. Moving water is the most important force in transporting weathered materials. Wind and gravity can also transport material. When sand and soil are dry, wind can easily blow them to new places. Gravity pulls rocks and soil downhill. If the slope is gentle, which means it's not very steep. I lost my spot. The soil moves slowly, but they can move quickly if the slope is steep, just like on a bike. Living things can move soil too. For example, ground squirrels tunnel through soil. Worms mix and move soil from one layer to another. Large tree roots grow through soil, pushing the soil aside. Air and water can move into and fill the empty spaces. Okay, don't forget to read all of the captions on your text features. Page 244. Transport and deposition. Pieces of rock and soil can be carried away by wind or flowing water. The pieces are removed from one place and transported to other places. As parts of Earth's surface are worn down, other parts are built up. So it breaks away from this mountain, it goes around here, it's transported, it all deposits right here, and it builds up again into a new location with a whole different shape. Again, it's not a new material, it's just moved material that becomes a new structure, a new form of land. Deposition is the laying down of pieces of rock and soil. Sometimes deposition happens slowly, and other times it happens very quickly. When the water flows quickly, it can carry large particles for great distances. As the moving water slows, the largest particles settle on the bottom first. Then the smaller particles, such as sand, sink. Finally, the smallest bits of silt and clay sink too. Think about the pictures that show sediment deposited by rivers. These places are called deltas. Ocean waves also carry sand from one place to another. Sandy islands sometimes form along coasts. Erosion can move these islands from one place to another. It wouldn't happen overnight. Wind can also erode, transport, and deposit small particles. Wind deposits silt and clay, which form a layer on top of the soil. In deserts, winds deposit grains of sand in large, loose piles called sand dunes. Without plants or barriers to keep the sand from blowing, wind continues to shape the dunes. Glaciers transport and deposit rocks as well. As glaciers move, they pick up rocks of all sizes, even large boulders. When glaciers melt, they deposit the rocks and soil they carried. Ridges of broken rocks and soil outline the areas of glaciers once covered. Even small glaciers can break rocks apart and transport large pieces for a long distance. It's not like the glacier picks up the rock and says, let's go. It's just kind of in its way, and so it just moves it this way because it's just pushing it along the way. If it breaks a piece of it, but one piece is kind of hanging on, and drags it a little bit further until it lets go. All right, that was lesson 3, and you need to do notebook page 100, I believe.